Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Stress Reset. We are very excited for another 6-week block of bringing you the best biobehavioral strategies on how to deal with the stress cycle. And I wanted to spend a little time today at the beginning of this block, because certainly, as I can already see in the chat, welcome back, people who, participants who have been with us before. We appreciate the continued support, and welcome to anybody new to Stress Reset. So I wanted to kind of create a container or contextualize what this class is, because often we hear stress reset and we automatically default to meditation. And while we will sort of dance around some somatic meditations, we won't be doing any meditation in this class. I think of meditation as life work. It's a life skill, and it takes a lot of practice in order to do it. There are numerous benefits to meditation, but the entry into it can kind of be stumbly for people. So if you're interested in meditation, you can reach out. I have over a 20-year meditation practice, and you'll be getting a little bit of that, but that's not what we're doing. We're doing biobehavioral strategies for stress. And what that is quick and succinct ways to interrupt the stress cycle that will, in real time, on demand, help to sort of quell the stress fever or the spiking of a stress fever. And done over time will build up fortitude and resilience within your nervous system, within you, to be able to withstand, tolerate, and still work through stress. Because to be honest, stress is normal. Stress is not something to be avoided. You know you're alive when you're stressed. Because what is stress? Stress is things that are happening around you. Our bodies are designed to pick up on information from the world happening around us. And dependent upon your history, the life you've lived, what you've experienced before, you will perceive different things as stressful or not. You will perceive the world as either being friendly or a threat at any given time. And once we begin to stack threats and stress on top of each other, because I'm seeing this mentioned in the chat of, I know I'm stressed when I can't tolerate things. Yeah, because the more stressed you become, the smaller your window of tolerance becomes, the lower capacity you have to let the proverbial water roll off your back. So what you're going to be getting are short tips and tricks to sort of navigate stress and work through that. In each class, you'll be getting a lot of strategies, protocols, and practices. And over the 6-week, you'll be getting a lot of practices. Don't remember all of them. Don't do all of them. Not all of them are for you. Some of them, in fact, will make you more stressed. The important thing to remember as you're exploring this class over the next 6 weeks is what I advocate for is what are the practices that feel good for you. And so a lot of this is going to be learning what feels good to you, because to be honest, you don't know. We are so dissociated from how it feels to be satisfied, what it is that we like, what it is that we don't like. And that's why we end up searching for what is the right thing to do, what's the wrong thing to do. So if you hear those narratives in your head, like what's the right thing to do here, just know that you are someone who has been taught to be dissociated from what feels satisfying. Because when you know what satisfaction feels like in the body, you no longer ask questions like, was this right or is this wrong? So I'm advocating, I wanted to set that intention from the beginning of really being with and pondering and getting curious about what is the thing that feels good for me right now. Because the part of the brain that registers bad things, stress, threat, all of that, is the same part of the brain that registers pleasure, satisfaction, and good things. And so it's a quick hack to go on perceiving all this threat and bad stuff right now. I'm finding myself achy, I'm finding myself tense. If I can kind of hack it and figure out what's the one good thing right now, how can I orient and center satisfaction and joy in the moment, it overrides this other thing. And so I'm going to give you a whole bunch of ideas, and some of them are going to be directly for you, and some of them are going to be for the person next to you, or the person you know in the next cubicle over, or your neighbor down the street. They're actually not for you. So we are going to get started with a little bit of a briefing. thing today. We're gonna start off with my favorite and the most simple. Actually, you know what? I actually don't want to start there. Well, it is sort of a breath thing, but this question was brought up by Andrea. This is something I usually bring up later in the course, but I think now would be a perfect place to start because it was brought up in the chat. What Andrea brought, I think it was Andrea, brought forth is a question about the CO2 tolerance test that we brought in at the end of the last session. What that is a way to determine, think about after you have exercised, or in the colloquial exercise culture, how you have on days and off days. You have heavy lift days, and then you have rest days. And the rest days are to give your body a chance to recuperate, to give your body an opportunity to restore itself before you go and do hard stuff again. Well, those systems are based on the nervous system. How ready and willing you are to tackle the day has everything to do with your nervous system. How restored you are, equal sign, nervous system. So this same thing that can determine, the same exact test that can determine is today a heavy lift day or a rest day, is the same exact test that will determine what is my nervous system state like right now. Is this a day where I can anticipate that I'm going to be ready to take on the world, or that I'm going to have to cultivate some self-compassion and cultivate some grace with how I'm going to behave and what I'm going to be willing and ready to challenge for today? And it's super simple. So I'm going to give you the breath strategy, and then we'll talk about it just a little bit more on the back end. So the breathing strategy is when you wake up in the morning, first thing, you don't even get out of bed, you do this test. And you take about 5 or 6 big breaths. So total of 6. Then you take a robust inhalation, hold and pause on that breath, and let out a slow, satisfied exhale. Big, satisfying, robust, profound inhalation, pause, slow, seeping out, air out of a tire, softly blowing on a feather, very lingering exhalation. 5 or 6 breaths, big inhale, slow exhalation. If your exhalation lasts under about 20-25 seconds, it means that you can anticipate that you are going to have a tough go at it that day. Your nervous system is still dealing with what happened yesterday or the week before. So that is not the day that you want to lift heavy. That is not the day that you want to charge forth and bring out the new project and speak in front of a large grouping of people, unless that makes you feel good. Average is from about 25 seconds to like 50 seconds-ish. That is like your normal. Your status quo, that is about the average. Now, it has everything to do with how you exhale. So it's an inhale, and if you're like, you're never gonna make it past like 10 seconds. So think of a slow seeping exhalation. For as long as you can go. If you can go over a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes, it means you are exceptional. It means you got a really good night of rest. Your life is going great. I highly doubt many of us right now, unless you have a very robust stress reset practice, are getting above that minute. So having a little grace, that it's a learned practice. Some of us are just deep conditioned to the diaphragm and ribs, and we don't even know how to take in a satisfying inhalation. So we'll practice that over the next few weeks. But that's the test of taking 5 or 6 breaths, holding the breath, and going forward. What that's registering is how tolerant your body is of CO2 versus oxygen. If my body inside of my nervous system is more tolerant to having more CO2 versus oxygen, it means that I'm resilient, robust, and capable of tackling the day. It means that I have reserves in how well I'm going to handle the day versus needing all the good stuff just to get through the day. So if you have any more direct questions about that, we'll talk about it afterwards, or you can email me. But that might be a good indicator throughout the rest of the 6 weeks, every day, just waking up and know that progression is very rarely linear. It's not, I'm down here, by 6 weeks I should get here. You're gonna notice that as life happens, it's gonna be sort of ripply. Some days you're gonna be real good at it, some days you won't be good at it, but that's what that is. Now, here's where I really wanted to start today. Physiological size, so simple, and one of the best stress reset tools you can have in your belt. Very, very simple. It's an inhale, an additional inhale, lingering exhale. 2 inhalations, 1 exhalation. Inhale, inhale. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Second thing I want to give to you today, or truly the third thing I want to give to you today, is the shaking progress or procedure, practice, whatever you want to call it. Let's just do it. Pick your hands up towards your ears and just shake. Really shake, and let that shake your arms, let it shake your body, let it shake all over the place. Just let it shake. You may even want to have your legs shake, everything shakes as much as you can. What I want to warn you against is what I see all too often when I give this practice. Sort of like this. It's like some kind of funny dance thing. What this is doing is, imagine these are the cells of your body. This is a film. This is the chemicals of stress holding on, coating your cells. That's what tension is. When you feel neck tension, leg tension, it's like the biochemicals, the juices of stress that live inside of you have latched on and holding tight to cells. When you shake, I want you to think of shaking off water or something sticky, because as you shake, it literally shakes off the chemicals of stress so that the stress can be metabolized and processed through the body with a little more finesse, with a little more wisdom. It's also a way of disrupting. Your body works on electrical signals, and in particular and specifically, they run on like recurrent signals. So brain sends it out, it pings back, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And sometimes it can get stuck in the stress ping, up and down, up and down. It's like a text message from your brain into your body. Stress, 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 By shaking, it literally disrupts. You're putting in a brand new signal. So it goes stress, oh, no, there's something else. I'm doing something else other than being stressed. So physiological sigh and shaking. I'm giving these to you because just last week, I taught a bunch of people at a few different gatherings, and I actually heard back from a few of them that the physiological sigh and shaking has been tremendous. And these are people who are up in the foothills of California that are on fire right now. These are people who've been evacuated. So they're not only dealing with the pandemic stress and life stress, but they're dealing with fire evacuation stress. And this has helped them get through the weekend. Physiological sigh and shaking. So how do you use this? What do you do with this? When you notice that you are being short with people, when you notice whatever signal it is, however it is that you know you're having a stress day versus a not stress day, and everybody is different. There is no test for are you stressed other than like physiological stuff, blood pressure and such, but there is not a way anecdotally or subjectively to say, are you stressed or are you not stressed? Who's more stressed? Who gets to decide who is more stressed? So knowing your own body and understanding that these are my signals, these are my below the line indicators. I do this, I feel this, I act like this when I'm stressed. When you feel yourself approaching that physiological sigh or just a simple breathing thing and or shaking, just doing that. Now, from there, we have a few more. Those are some top tips. If I were you, I'd probably mental note one or the other, whichever one of those feels more approachable. Now, here are some of my favorite immediate self-soothing caretaking procedures. Rub your hands together. Now, once your hands are warm, and if you don't have access to warm hands, a warmed up prop would work just fine. A low-grade heating blanket or the like. Place them on the front of your throat. Just let the warmth do the work. Again, it's not about doing the right thing. It's about what feels good. So for me, warm stuff on the front of my throat feels really good. If you're like, I don't like this, move your warm hands somewhere that would feel good. Maybe here, or here, or here, here, here. Wherever would feel good for your warm hands. How do you know? Close your eyes, get out of your own way, and just move your hands where you feel inclined to move your hands. It's probably the right answer. You'll notice a few things when your body starts to adjust or re-regulate itself. There are a few ways that your body actually speaks to you. You'll notice that your breathing could possibly change. Maybe you take a big yawn, or the rate or the volume of breath changes. Maybe think of the sounds of digestion, like how if your stomach makes a noise, you're like, oh, I must be hungry. That's not always the case. That same peristalsis system is directly connected to how regulated your nervous system is. So if you hear sounds of digestion during this class or while you are relaxing, it could be that your nervous system is telling you, oh, I like this, do more of this. Gulping swallows are another way, because the nerves that are connected down into the body that say, am I stressed or not, are also connected into the laryngeal and pharyngeal complex or throat complex. So you'll notice that you'll swallow a big gulpy swallow. One of those three things are a really good indicator that if you don't know, if you can't tell, are you doing a good thing for your body? Listen, your body's literally going to tell you. From there, right hand, left throat, big heavy hand draws to middle as I twist my face to the side. Other side, big heavy hand draws to middle as I twist. Last one. Then some fingertips right into the jaw. Just to let your top teeth and bottom teeth separate. Let your tongue get heavy. You're just going to do a little gentle massage all the way down, all the way to the ears. You might even want to do an ear massage. All the way up to the eyebrows and even over the eyeballs. You could just hold your face or even do a tap. Now, I want to give you a little context, a little why for all of this. We have a nerve, it's the vagus nerve. It runs from the brain down into the gut, and it brings up information from the body to tell you, are you stressed or not? What's going on in your body? That nerve comes up, it splits and goes underneath your throat muscles and into your jaw nerves. The jaw nerves right here are called your trigeminal nerves, and they go into your eyes, into your ears, and into your jaw. So there's a direct connection. Interrupting that by doing a lovely thing for the throat, a little twist, a little massage, literally interrupts the signals. That jaw tension is not, oh, look at that, how weird that I have jaw tension. It's physiology. It's literally anatomy telling you that, oh, your body is perceiving low levels of stress that over time stack up to high levels of stress. So just doing a little feel-good stuff in there will help to open that up. So you can shake it off, you can breathe it out, or you can do a little touch thing, especially if you're experiencing jaw, throat, and neck tension, which seems to be so rampant right now. On top of that, again, our body is constantly picking up on information from around us. So why not orient yourself to the space around you? Orientation is so simple and highly underutilized. This practice comes from trauma-informed healing centered work. I also have heard that a lot of, especially like adult autism work, that this is really profound, bipolar disorder. Orientation work is powerful. So simple. I want you to sit there and you're going to start to just look around your space. As you look around the space, I invite you to start doing what's called objective viewing. So if I'm going to do some objective viewing here, it might sound like plant, mirror, exercise equipment, window, door, camera, computer, glass. And I'm just naming things. I'm naming things in my space all around me that you and I could both see in the same way, which is very different than subjective viewing. Cut by like, door that needs painting, plant that needs watering, clutter in the corner, whatever it is. Those are subjective views, things that you have stories about. Objective viewing is simply naming the thing. It's denotative definition. There is a plant, there is a window. Everyone could see a door right there or know a door. Now, if you're someone who's not visual, you can do this through auditory. I can listen to the sounds of the room. This comes in really handy, especially if you're having a conversation with someone and you can't start looking around because it would be weird, but you're feeling stressed. So dilate open, maybe even for today, close your eyes and start listening to the sounds of the room. Here, I can hear traffic going by outside, the buzz of an air conditioner. I can hear that my water jug just did a little gurgly. I can hear the sound of my own voice. What else can you hear in your space? Or I can ground myself into the experience by just for a moment paying attention to what is physically coming up through my body. Meaning, how do I know I'm sitting like this versus sitting like this, or sitting like this, or sitting like this? They feel different. What is touching the floor right now, or in the chair you're in? What temperature is it in the room? How do your clothes feel on you? What are you noticing? If you have jewelry on, how does that feel? Is there air current in your space? All of that stuff that you were not paying attention to 5 seconds ago, your nervous system was and is, always is, in an unconscious way. And it's determining whether that's a threat or whether that's friendly. Based upon your history, based upon things that are unconsciously happening in the body. So by recentering and orienting yourself to the reality of what is going on. Oh, look at it, I'm still in this room. Yep, those are the sounds. Yep, that's what this feels like. I just did this practice, this orientation practice about 20 minutes ago. I was on a website and it was frustrating me. And I could feel myself, I'm screaming at the computer. And I had to pause and I was just like, oh, no, here I am looking around. And when I came back to it, it was still frustrating, but I was able to process through it just a little bit more. Our windows of tolerance, our surge capacities are like squeezing in on us. And if you feel that that is true for you, you are so common. It is not normal at all. What we're experiencing right now, your stress level is not normal. It's common. There's a distinction there. A lot of people are stressed. We are not designed to hold on to this stress. We're designed to experience it and let it go. Shake it out, breathe it out, watch it out, move it out of us. And you know you're doing a good job or choosing the right procedures if you hear your breathing change, if you hear the swallowing change, if you hear the gurgly sound, or over time, check back on it with that CO2 tolerance stuff. Waking up in the morning, 5 or 6 breaths, big satisfying inhale, long, slow exhalation. Is that exhalation 15 seconds? If so, probably got some work to do. Maybe you need to shake it out. Maybe I need to breathe a little bit different. If I'm in that 30 to 60 seconds, probably okay for today. Like I'm normal today. If it's longer than that, like you're real good. You're real good. Today's the day to go and ask your boss for a raise. Like today is the day to process some heavy duty stuff. Now, with that, let's go into a little psychological fitness and see where that takes us. The practice I want to give you today could not be more simple. Simple is very, very, very rarely easy. What we're going to do is you're just going to observe. So you can have your eyes open, you can have your eyes closed. It makes no difference to me. Whatever makes you feel good. And I want you to just notice your feet. Just be in your feet for a moment. Maybe your right foot versus left foot. Then maybe you go up into your legs, maybe up into your pelvis or back or belly. Right shoulder versus left shoulder. By now, some of you have already drifted off. You're thinking about work. You're thinking about what is the next thing? Just smile, kind of laugh, like, oh, look at that. So monkey brained, totally fine. Go right back into observing the body. Observe any sensation in your back without judging it. It's not good or bad. It's just what is right now. That is your current reality. If you're feeling anxious and stressed, that's fine. That is your current reality right now. I just want you to notice. Get into the habit of just noticing without needing to fix something, even if it's unpleasant. I know, I'm not advocating for you to feel unpleasant. I'm just advocating for you to notice, do you feel unpleasant? Because without noticing if you feel unpleasant, how are you ever going to notice what makes you feel good? And if you're unaware of that, without awareness, there is no choice. I don't even know, should I be doing a practice or should I not be doing a practice? What practice do I need to do? What part of me is feeling uncomfortable right now? How will you ever know what is the thing you need to choose? And if you don't have choice, you don't have freedom. And when we don't have freedom, that's when we get stressed. If I don't have the option of doing whatever it is I'd like, that's when we feel stressed, when choices narrow in on us. So just get into the habit. Look at that. What thoughts are coming through? What is the emotional state? What is the physical state? Because this is a practice we're going to keep coming back to every single session. What do you notice? What do you notice in your body? What do you notice in your feet? What do you notice? What are you noticing? Just being aware. Spend a few more moments just noticing. I'm on purpose spending some time here with this. Just simply noticing. Then, this is one of my favorite practices. Just begin to rock side to side. Find some rhythm. Our nervous systems love rhythm. Now, as I rock side to side, you can kind of mimic what I'm doing here. I call this one seaweed spine. This is one that appears in all of my classes. This is a perfect kind of rhythmic rocking. Rocking is profound. Think about what mothers do with babies. Think about what we intuitively do if we're distressed. Rocking sort of resets the nervous system. And how much more supple and fluid can you be with the rocking? And then as you continue to rock, now go into that. What do you notice in your feet? What do you notice in your body? The areas that felt important in the first one, how do they feel now? As you rock, begin to look around the room. Not looking for anything in particular, just noticing what is. Maybe take a nice, satisfied inhale. Another breath. Exhale. 2 inhalations, slow exhalation. One more of those. Bring your hands together, get them warm. Place them somewhere that would feel good on your body. Just be there for a moment. Just feel the warmth. And as you continue to feel the warmth, allow your posture to shift into something that feels really comfortable. Because again, we're not looking for what's right and what's wrong. That's old. That's an old dogma paradigm. We're looking for what feels good for you right now. Intuitively, my body wants to go into a rock like this. And then just pause. Take a little inventory of what you notice, what you feel. What from today, 1 or 2 things, what from today are you going to take with you? What will become a new habit for you to explore. A little on habits. The way my clients are always coming like, how do I find more consistency? How do I make this a more, you got to find a way to make it a habit. Habits form spatially, temporally, situationally. My advice to you is whatever one or two things you've chosen from the day, where and when will you practice that? Are you going to do it in bed before you get up in the morning? Are you still lying in bed when you do it, or are you sitting up in bed? Is this something you're going to do when you're brushing your teeth or on your drive to work? Are you going to do it when you get in the car, or are you going to do it when you're at the red light? Is this something you do at work? And if so, are you at your desk at work or wherever it is that you work? Are you in the bathroom at work? Are you with someone at work? What time of day is it that you're going to practice this thing? Is it before you go to bed at night? Do you share this with someone? Is it your spouse, your child, a friend that you do this with? Pre-plan these things. You are creating a new habit, a new skill set, a new way of understanding and moving through life. So think about today, what are you going to take with you from today? Practice it, and I will see you back here on Friday. We are just getting started. These are some of the most simple and profound things I have to give, but there is so much more. So looking forward to spending another 6-week block with you. I'll stick around for some question and response time, and if you have something specific, you can always email me at james@jamescrater.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much, James. I actually just put your email and your website
Perfect
in the chat. Thank you everyone for joining us today. James will look through the chat here, see if there's any questions that he can answer for you. So if you have anything you want to ask, this is the time to ask it. But we really just appreciate you being here with us for Community Fit. I know we see a lot, we see a lot of the people from the past here, and we see new people too. So we're really happy about that. Question about the recording. So we are recording all of these. I don't know how quickly we'll get these ones up, maybe in a week or so. However, you can go back and look at last block's recordings on our YouTube page, on Western Health Advantage's YouTube page. But I will let you know once we start getting these posted. They do have to go to our marketing department and they have to do some things to them, and then they'll get them up there. So I'll let you know when that starts happening. But I just wanted to say my practice is the shaking practice. That's what I've been doing most. And my cue to do it is whenever I see one of my dogs do it.
Oh, I love that.
So
that
every time
so good.
Annie or Daisy shakes, and you notice that they shake when something has just stressed them or threatened them in a way, whether it was a dog or a sound or something has startled them, then they will shake and they'll shake their whole body and then they're over it.
Right.
And
don't bring it with them. They don't let it become shoulder pain or hip pain or any of that. There's just the wisdom of completing that cycle as it's happening.
Exactly. And the biggest one, the most profound one with my dog Daisy is when I put the harness on her to take her for a walk. She just really doesn't like having it put on her. Once it's on her, she's fine, but she doesn't like having it put on. But I just tell her, I say, shake it off, and she'll, not the harness, but just the stress. So she'll get up after I put the harness on and she'll just shake and then she's fine. But until she shakes, she's kind of frozen. She's in that frozen stress state. So I think that we do a lot of that too. So every time my dog shake, I shake.
So we have a question here about the exact question is, I find sitting as you do uncomfortable for my lower back and the stretching between my legs. What would you advise? So this is something I talk a lot about in Move Lab. And in fact, I think it's currently Move Lab, our other class, only has one rule, and that rule is whatever you're doing it totally correct, because there's no wrong way to move. I'm going to add a secondary rule in there, in that if you're trying to make your movement look like mine, you're doing it wrong. Because the way I sit, the way I move is indicated by what makes me feel good in the moment. And so you'll notice if you watch me teach a class, I change how I'm sitting a lot, because after a while, my back bothers me too. We think of, again, it's that idea of like, what's the right way to sit? What is the thing that I should be doing here? So if you are finding the way I'm sitting, the way you're watching me sit, to be uncomfortable, don't do that. Maybe If you want to still be on the floor, there are a number of different ways to sit. Come to Move Lab. We cover a lot of that sort of stuff. What you can do is get a prop. You can get a pillow, you can get a bolster, something like that. Stack up pillows, stack your mat up. You can also always feel free to lay down. You can sit in a chair. You can stand up. You can walk around your space and just intake the class that way. But what I adamantly oppose is you trying to sit or do what I do, unless that feels right for you. So I understand, we have these mirror neurons in our brain that when we look at someone do something, we automatically, unconsciously want to do whatever it is. So if you have a conversation with someone and they end up crossing their arms, within 30 seconds, you will probably cross your arms. If you're watching a class and someone is sitting a certain way, you will probably unconsciously automatically start to sit that way. So when you hear indicators from your body saying, don't do that, listen to those and just make a different choice for yourself.
Oh, somehow there's some music starting. I don't know where that came from. I am just
having a party over there.
Yeah.
Plans that work with you.
Oh,
That's
because I was trying to get the YouTube link for Claudia. Just asked for the YouTube link, and it sounds like our CEO is talking on a video. So I'm going to pause that. I apologize. Claudia, if you're still on, I am getting that YouTube link for you, and I'm going to put it in the chat right now. There was a little shameless plug for our company. All right, everyone, here comes the link, and we will see you tomorrow for Move Lab. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you all soon.
Yeah, bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thank you.
James.